The DAZN boxing show is on the road in Leeds, ahead of Saturday night's action from the First Direct Arena, where we finally see the long-awaited rematch between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. This is the weekend preview. Welcome along to the Queen's Hotel here in the city centre of Leeds. Ahead of the press conference today, and alongside me I have former WBC World Cruiserweight Champion Tony Bellew and the former undisputed Super Lightweight Champion Josh Taylor. One half of our main event on Saturday night, 2 days out. How good is it to be here?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I'm absolutely fantastic that, well, just over the moon, you know, that we're here now. It's taken a long time, but there's been a lot said, there's been a lot done, so yeah, we're finally here. I can't wait, yeah.
I must say, both of you look on the weight, proper, true, diligent professionals. The hands look sore. You've been putting in the rounds, putting in the work. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm feeling great, Tone. You know, it's I've had a great camp. You know, the weight's good, like you said. The sparring's been good, the preparation's been good. I've been able to prepare diligently this time and properly this time. You know, with the last fight with Theo, I had a lot of limitations with my preparations with the injury, but that's all been said and done. Theo was better than me on the night and he beat me, so but this time we've done everything. We've done all the hill running, we've done all the leg work.
I knew you'd had injuries. I'm not making excuses for Josh in whatsoever, but I knew he was going to the Everton's training complex running on a running machine that has compressed air in it, so he had no thing going through his joints. Little things like that people don't see from the outside. The biggest thing for me, Josh, in this fight is there's no underestimating Jack this time. And people will say you underestimated him the first time, or you did or you didn't, but I don't think you quite knew what you were going in with the first time, and you had so much going into that fight. The job you've done on Ramirez was exceptional. All the big fights before. I just think it's a different fight now because you know exactly what you're going in with.
Yeah, exactly. You got the hit on the head. You know, it's like I went into that fight looking past Jack. You know, like just like. Not as a threat, you know. It was like I'd just been to Mount Everest and conquered it, and then I come back and it was like fight Jack Catterall, right? Okay, I'll go and climb Ben Nevis. You know, and that was the mistake that I made. You know, and I thought I'd learnt that lesson from previous fighters in recent history. You know, Joshua with Ruiz made the same mistake, and I thought I'll never make that mistake. But with the level of success I had in such a short period of time, I was like, this guy's below me, you know.
It must have been so hard because you're spot on what you're saying. When you've been to the top of Everest, you've got all them belts, all that adulation, you've won round the world and conquered everyone. And then you go, right, you're going to come and have a domestic matchup with a lad who, all due respect to Jack, and I take not away from him, he's a brilliant fighter, but you go, who have you beat? What have you won? And you're like, it's so hard to get around. You know, you go to one level and you drop back down. And in hindsight, it wasn't a drop down, but mentally it is because he doesn't have that pedigree on his record that you had. Yeah,
well, mentally it was, and a lot of it, I fell into the trap of it as well. The media, you guys, the media before the fight, it was always constantly ramming down my throat. After this fight, you're going to move up to welter and hopefully get a two-weight world championship. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, I want to take care of this guy on Saturday. And we're going up to welter and hopefully become a two-weight world champion. And that's my mistake that I made.
Is it going to be the best version of you going into that fight? You know, injury-free. Is this the first time in a while that you've been injury-free?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, for the last 3 years since the Prograis fight, actually, I've been dealing with like double vision in my eyes. You know, so I went into the Ramirez fight, the Lopez fight, the Jack fight with like double vision. You know, and I was leading up to this fight here, and I thought I need to get this done. I need to get this done because it was really affecting me the way I was looking. And as soon as I got it done, it was just a slight small procedure, a little squint procedure on my eyes. But 3 days after it, I was just like, wow. Like I was like, the way I described it was I don't know if any of you guys have seen the video of the little baby when he gets his specs on for the first time and he can see
his mum for the first time.
The pure joy in his face. I was like saying to the wife, I was like, I know how that baby feels. I know that's exactly how I feel. I feel like I've got panoramic vision again, you know. And it was like I had a great camp now because of it. So yeah, it's been the best thing that I've done. I'm injury free now, and you know, if anything goes wrong, which it won't on Saturday, there's no excuses.
Do you think this is going to be the toughest fight of your career?
Do I think so? No, but has it got the potential to be? Yes, because he caused me problems in the first fight. You know, I couldn't quite figure out his sort of movements and his style. You know, I've been in with him there 12 rounds now. I know what he does. I've studied him a lot, and I believe I've got the beating of him. You know, that me the first time was just the worst possible version of me going into a ring there's ever been.
Yeah.
You know, so he won't be facing a Josh Taylor like that again. So I think the pressure is more on Jack than it is on me.
Your styles may cancel each other a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, or the way he's talking about coming out for a war and fighting and all that. So we'll see what happens. But
you're ready for anything.
I'm just ready for anything. You know, I am nice and relaxed this week.
You're both are smiling, mate, nappy.
I can't wait to get in there on Saturday and do the business, and just put this all to bed.
Thank you for joining us.
Guys.
And the one we've all been waiting for happens this Saturday.
Who knows how it's going on Saturday? Your last ring walk.
Jack Catterall has now joined us. Jack, welcome to the DAZN Boxing Show. At press conference, how are you feeling?
Feeling good, really good. Razor sharp, switched on. Excited to get today out of the way. Weigh in tomorrow, and all I'm thinking about is Saturday night.
Jack, when them flames went up between you the other day, I thought...
It was warm.
I was going to say, you lost a couple of pounds there. I mean, you both looked amazing. You both looked really good, and on the weight it shows the professionalism of both of you. What could you gauge from that fire? Yes, and I mean, the intensity
you know what?
of it.
There was nothing to gauge. We come in the room. We was at separate sides of the room. There were no real words exchanged. He turned up. It was finally nice to see him turn up because the fight's been obviously pushed back and delayed. So I knew the fight was happening when he's turned up in Leeds. I didn't read into it too much. The flames were hot. We got some nice pictures, and we roll out of there.
Both got a bit of a tan off them flames, I think, to be honest.
I think it singed him.
Yeah, not much was said between you both yesterday, but might be a bit different today. Are you expecting it to kick off?
You know what, I'm ready for it all. He's been very quiet these last couple of days, and people that know me know that I'm not the first to start shouting my mouth about, but if he brings that energy, he'll certainly be matched. All I'm focused on now is getting me resting, preparing for Saturday, and staying switched on and staying with my team. But if he tries any silly today, then he'll get another slap.
Camp Jack, I'm assuming, has gone fantastic. He's both looking great shape, but I'm, just want to reconfirm to us that camp's gone great. You're happy. Everything's on track.
Everything's on track. Camp's been great. Got the same team as the first time round. We're always looking for them extra 1%. We've brought in a chef this camp. He's been looking after the food. The same nutritionist, same boxing coaches, strength coaches. New sparring partners, a few of the old sparring partners. Okay. So shout out to everybody. It's been really good.
I watched some of the videos that take place with certain parts of your camp who post videos, who doesn't, but you all looked relaxed, great energy, running together, obviously training together. It builds a camaraderie, but ultimately and I know when you get in there, you're on your own.
Yeah, of course, it's me that's got to do the job Saturday, and I'm fully aware of that. That's been the case for every boxer in it, all my career. So I know the job ahead Saturday. I'm expecting a tough fight. I'm expecting the best version of Josh, despite the delays, etc. Camp's been great, and the team that I've got is phenomenal. They're more like a family to me. The gym's kind of changed over the last year now. I've got a lot of younger fighters coming through, so that's a buzz in the gym, that young energy, and pushing me every day. Top
fighters keep you young, especially the young ones. They keep you going.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of young fighters, and they're pushing me, and it's good.
Now this fight, the belts aren't on the line, but does it mean just as much? Even more?
This is personal, yeah. This is a fight that I believe I won the first time round. He thinks different. We've got to settle it like men on Saturday, and what better way than to do it in a packed out arena in Leeds.
You're expecting a similar fight or a tougher fight?
I always expect a tough fight. That's what I've prepared for. He's had a new training team since the last fight. He's had his injuries, but listen, you don't take your eye off the ball. I've been focusing on myself and how I can improve, and I'm expecting Josh at his best.
There's no much more we can say. I mean, both look, as I said before, I repeat myself again, but they both look tremendous, and they're both huge credits to the sport. You've got a former undisputed unified world champion, a man who should have been unified world champion, but we're in this position now, and it is what it is. And I believe, and I said this 12, 18 months ago, that both of these guys need to meet for both of their careers to progress, regardless of what's gone on in the past. They both want to get past each other and progress past each other. And on Saturday night, we get a definitive answer, just to draw a line under it, and that's it. And I think that's what both guys want.
Were there times you didn't think that we'd actually see this rematch?
Yeah, a few times. There's been the fight against Lopez. We don't know how that was going to go, but I think What gives me confidence is the amount of messages and the demand from the boxing fans, from the public, and I guess it's been the same for Josh. No matter where I go, I'm getting asked about the fight, so it had to happen at some point, and we're finally here now.
We certainly are. Well, it's the rematch. We've all been waiting for it to happen, and it happens Saturday night, live and exclusive on DAZN.
Right now, I think he's an absolute genuine bad blood.
Hate,
Coming in there to do damage.
rivalry.
He's a little arrogant piece of I think.
I can't wait to smash his head in.
Do you think of that all by yourself, Jack?
These guys want to attack on the site. It is the most intense, fierce rivalry I've ever seen.
This is not bravado. Can't wait to get my hands on it.
Once I beat him, it's game over.
That's Jack Catterall, the man who lost to Josh Taylor.
May the 25th. I can't wait.
Hey champ, I know why you're here. You're a born winner, the top dog. You have a proper punch on you. It only takes one, eh? But I know you're not all about throwing haymakers. You know your bobs from your weaves, and you know DAZN's got over 100 live events every year. Over 100, proper stat. All the action, the chaos, the comebacks, the non-stop knockout. Big fights every week, so get those gloves back on. Together, we're boxing royalty. DAZN, undisputed.
Eddie Hearn has joined us straight from the press conference, a lot more civilised than I think we were all expecting.
I knew that was going to happen. Sometimes, obviously, with all the build-up with everything, you get both guys and they're chilled out, they're making weight.
Drama?
What?
Did
of
you
course
really
I wanted drama. We'll get it tomorrow when they're making weight, that's for sure. You know, and I think that probably both trainers would say to him, listen, just we've got to finish our media here, then we've got to get our gear on, then we've got to go train. You know, you're not going to eat much tonight, you're not going to drink much. Tomorrow you're going to do the same. And that's when you'll see these guys come head to head. And I think, you know, really, they know what's coming on Saturday night. You know, they've got to put every ounce of their energy into this fight. So that fight's sold, fight's done. You know, as much as we want grabbing around the throat and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't personally, but the fans do. You know?
just said you did that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just two world-class fighters ready to perform on Saturday.
I mean, it's finally happening. It's been long awaited. You know, we've had rescheduling, we've had times where we didn't think it was going to be happening. They both need this fight, don't they, to progress on with their careers?
I mean, I'm glad that Josh was honest there, where I said to him, like, whatever you've achieved, if you don't beat Jack Catterall, people are always going to be talking about that first fight. Oh, you robbed Jack Catterall, you shouldn't even be champion. If he goes in there and dominates him on Saturday night, it's over, really. Right? It's done. And he's been an amazing fighter, Josh Taylor. For Jack, I remember watching that fight as they read the scorecards, and I was thinking, oh my God, Jack Catterall is about to become undisputed world champion in one fight, like all the belts on the line. And obviously it was taken away from him. We know scoring's subjective, but for him, a huge amount of mental demons. He can't recapture the belts, but what he can do is just put himself in that position to go on and be in massive fights. You know, this is live on DAZN in the UK, around the world. It's on ESPN in America. Global. Like, it's a massive fight. So the winner of this fight, and we've got a lot of the top guys at 140, they're going to be in big fights, and both desperate to win, like both camps desperate to win. You've got Joe McInally, you've got Jamie Moore,
who wasn't
two great
impressed
British.
with the first fight.
Yeah, I know, quite clearly. I was like, all right, guys, like, we were trying to sell this thing. You know, it's like, yeah, the first fight was a stinker, but all right. And I don't think we'll get that type of fight. No. You know, I think Joe McInally put a couple of little subtle ones in, saying, we hope this time that Jack doesn't tries to let the action flow. We hope the referee allows them to fight.
That's what rules meetings are for.
And I think Jack Catterall, I think Josh Taylor's going to come out like a train. I don't think this is going to be cagey. And by Jack Catterall's prediction of a stoppage, round 7 to 9, he's probably expecting that and ready to engage. I think nothing to lose from these guys outside of pride. There's no belts on the line. Just a must-win for both.
I think the most important thing about this fight is, and Eddie touched upon it earlier, and I've said this from the day dot, the minute the first fight finished, no matter what Josh Taylor went on to do, no matter what Jack Catterall went on to do, it'll always be that moment in the past. That gets ended on Saturday night. Eddie's right when he says you're going to see different versions of both, better versions of both. I've just got something in the back of my head telling me styles make fights, lad, and he has a nightmare with Jack Catterall's style, and I don't know what it is that's telling me that. I just think Josh Taylor is going to box well. He's going to have his moments. I believe he's going to use distance. I believe he's going to try and outbox Jack Catterall. But I just think in the second half of the fight, when it gets physical, when it matters most, when lifestyles play a part, I think that's when this fight's going to start turning towards Jack Catterall.
Taylor might get a bit desperate down the straight?
No, I think he'll be ahead.
Right.
I think he will start quick. But I think the shots he will feel the shots as well. I think Jack Catterall is so heavy-handed and people underestimate
not renowned
that.
to be heavy-handed.
That's what I'm saying. He's not a vicious knockout puncher, and he's also not a really good hunter or finisher, but he is so heavy-handed, and we've seen that in the first fight. Regardless of the performance in the first fight, he dropped him and he hurt him numerous times. That wasn't like out of the blue. He was doing it in the fight, and I think that could be play a factor on Saturday night.
I think that Jack's style is very awkward for everybody, and Sam Jones calls him his kryptonite, of Josh Taylor, and maybe that is the case. But I actually think Josh Taylor will try and start fast. But I think that will suit Jack. He's a very good counter-puncher as well. He's got tremendous feet. And I think if he starts winning the fight, you saw Josh get a little bit frustrated against Teofimo Lopez, where he started then he was like, it's almost like, do you know what? Let's just go for it. I mean, he'd be jumping him, and then it would get worse and worse and worse. And I think actually he could be behind going down the stretch and really try and force the fight. Joe McAnally saying to him, look, you've got to put a dent in him, you've got to do something. And I think the more chances he takes, the more that will suit Jack Catterall. I think he's a tremendous counter-puncher. I think Tony's right, he's never been an aggressive finisher. Like when he hurt Linares in that fight, he could have jumped all over him and stopped him. He was like, no, 12 rounds. But I think with everything on the line, with the atmosphere that will be in the building, I think he'll go to close the show. In
his back of his mind, he will be thinking, I don't want it to go to points again.
I think both
surely.
of them. I mean, they said that there. Joe McAnally said, I hope there's no controversy. I hope, and that's the same. Like, it could be. It's going to be a close fight. I think,
regardless,
everyone's debating it's a 50-50 fight, so there is a chance it could go to distance, and if it does, it's going to be close.
Well, as well as this main event on Saturday night, we do have to mention, obviously, the undercard is strong. Personally, for you as well, quite important co-main event. Matchroom Queensbury.
Yeah, we got.
You're 1-0 down.
We're going into next week. I mean, Kakachi was not expected to beat Cordina. He did very well in that fight. Looked super strong. We got to get this win. We also made Masood against Liam Davis yesterday. That's a great fight. But going into the 5v5, I really don't want to be 2-0 down. I mean, it's not the greatest way to start.
Are you counting them?
No, definitely not. I mean, I'm not counting last week. I don't even remember last week. I didn't even know if Cordina fought Kakachi. But I've forgotten it already. So I'm looking forward to Chev Clark against Zorro.
Yes.
Obviously, Zorro got iced by Opataya, but he's a good fighter, and Chev's only had 8 fights, but he comes out like a train. I'm looking forward to seeing if Lewis Ritson can get somewhere into the 5th, 6th, 7th round against Paddy Donovan, but he's a sharp shooter.
I mean, Donovan likes to look at them first, so that means he's going to be willing to give up a couple of rounds. And I think once he gives up them couple of rounds, I think Lewis Ritson, I think he's in trouble. But I think he will be winning the first 2 rounds because Ritson doesn't wait round. Ritson gets stuck in. His game is anything. Paddy Donovan is a slickster, does wait, looks for nice counters. You could be a come from behind stoppage for Paddy Donovan in the middle to late rounds after having a good look at Lewis Ritson. Do you class this as a step up for Chev Clark? Because let's be honest, the fight previous was against the European champion, Tommy McCarthy.
Yeah.
So,
but I think Tommy's done. I mean,
I agree.
I think for Tommy it was like a last roll of the dice, but really being honest,
he's seen better days. But
I don't think he's durable enough anymore.
I spoke to him after and asked him to stop because I like Tommy.
But good win against Vasil Ducar, but went the distance. One thing, Chev, and I know that Ellis only went 1 round, but I actually thought until he got iced. No, but he was competent, right? I mean, Jaya at that time, Jaya's coming off the Jordan Thompson win. Like he's absolutely fine. It was a huge left hand round the side. And the fact is, Ellis was just not world class.
Can you compare that fight to this one?
But Jaya Opataya is the best cruiserweight in the world, and there is no disputing that.
No.
There's no
So it's hard to take anything from that.
That's what
for Zorro going into this
I
one.
don't know. I don't know Zorro's level.
He's a British level fighter.
Purely domestic.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, if that's
could probably
the case,
win the European title.
Oh, well, that's different because the European cruiserweights are world class.
Just because you won it.
Oh, thanks for that.
If you'd never won the European title, you wouldn't even be mentioning it.
I would mention it, Edward.
If played you well that night against Master.
Don't annoy me. Don't wind me up. Absolutely had the kecks off me.
He absolutely had a war against Master.
Yeah, 2 eyes were shut. I scratched eyeball, smashed hands, smashed face, and walked off with a very light in my pocket.
Done all right, didn't you?
But worth it for the.
But then that's what it's all about. I told him. That's what I told him, Ali, at the time. Why do you worry about the money? You're European champion, son.
So much to look forward to as well coming up. Obviously, that 5v5 on June the 1st, and Saturday night is the big fight in the super lightweight division. The rematch is finally happening. Make sure you tune in live and exclusive on DAZN. Here's a reminder of what's coming your way on the main card this Saturday night. First up is prospect Giorgio Visioli as he takes on Sergio Odabai in a lightweight contest. Giorgio is 2 fights in and 2 KOs as a pro. Then we move to Gary Cully as he takes on Francesco Patera. Then it is Paddy Donovan against Lewis Ritson for the WBA Continental Welterweight title. Our co-main event of the evening for the British Cruiserweight title between Chev Clark and Ellis Zorro. Then it is, of course, the main event, the rematch between Josh Kaler and Jack Catterall. What a night of action we've got ahead on Saturday here from Leeds. Opening the show for us at 7 o'clock, Giorgio Visioli. 2 fights into his pro career and 2 knockouts so far. Couldn't have gone better.
It couldn't have gone better. He's really good. He's an exciting prospect, an exciting talent, and one I'm looking forward to seeing again. I must also mention on Before the Bell, we've got the little exception, that's George Liddard. He's a quality little fighter, so I'm looking forward to seeing him also. But like you said, Visioli is someone who's causing a bit of a stir, and that last one was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. Then it is Gary Cully, who we all know what happened when he went over to Dublin. You know, it was meant to be a homecoming. He had big nights planned. He was looking to sort of headline. There was definitely a path set out, which kind of got derailed. He's back on track, back to winning ways, and he'll be looking to do the same on Saturday night.
He will be. I mean, he's moved around and with trainers, and he's finding his feet. But one thing we can all know about Gary Cully is he's a really good fighter and can really punch. I just think he needs another couple of confidence building fights, if I'm being totally honest, because it was such a shattering defeat in Dublin back home for him that it was really hard for him to take, and I just think it's going to take its time to build back up. I always remember the reaction of Conor McGregor ringside. I think Eddie literally was frightened for his life when Cully lost, because he thought Conor McGregor was going to strangle the life out of him. But he, as I say, just needs time to come back, the right opponents, the right times, and then ultimately he'll be back in title contention in no time.
Well, then we move on. Lewis Ritson is taking on Paddy Donovan, who is in unbelievable form at the moment. He's on a four-fight KO streak. Unbelievable.
Paddy Donovan is a really good fighter, someone I've been watching for a while. Him and his brother are both exceptional talents. There's Edward and there's Paddy. For Paddy, he's on this KO streak. I mean, he's under Andy Lee, the tutelage of Andy Lee, and Andy Lee's emerging now as one of the best young trainers in the world. I think this is a bit of I don't want to say statement fight, because I thought he was really good last time out, but this is his coming out of the shadows fight. Everyone knows who Lewis Ritson is. Everyone knows what he's achieved. Everyone knows where he's been. If he can get rid of Lewis Ritson, that means, that's a bit of a statement, Ali, if I'm being totally honest. But for Ritson, it's like, I'm here, I'm going to gate crash the party. I'm not finished. I'm going to show you what I've got. And that's where Lewis Ritson's at. So it's a crossroads fight for Lewis Ritson. And for Paddy Donovan, it's a fight where it's me coming out party. This really is.
Well, it should be a good one. Then we move to our co-main event on Saturday night. Chev Clark and Ellis Zorro for that British Cruiserweight title, your division. This should be a good fight.
Long overdue for Siobhan Clark, I believe. Ellis Zorro, we don't know much about. We've just seen him go in, obviously, unfortunately, with the brilliant Jai Opetaia, who is the best cruiserweight in the world. There's no questions asked in that for me.
Yeah, that's always going to be a tough night's work.
It was, and I felt for him, I really did, because he was like a rabbit caught in the headlights. But you can't expect to go from domestic level to just elite level world class, and that's what Jai Opetaia is. He's not world class, he's elite level, because he's the premier man in his division. For Siobhan Clark, he's gradually gone through the process of defeating the right people at the right time. I thought he was really good against Tommy McCarthy. I thought he picked them apart, and it was pretty brutal, the finish and the ending. I'm going for Siobhan Clark here. I think if he wants to get the stoppage here, I think he can.
And our main event, I am going to put you on the spot. What is your prediction?
When this fight first got announced, I put my neck on the block and I said Josh Taylor's going to get the job done. And the closer this has drawn on, I'm sorry to say I'm going back to Jack Catterall. But nothing would surprise me in this fight. I can't wait to see it unfold. When that first bell goes, the fusion and the hatred and the rivalry, it all comes to an end. And let's see who can keep the cool.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be full of emotion, but Tony has edged towards Jack Catterall. But make sure you tune in, because that is happening, the main card, live on DAZN from 7 p.m. Saturday night.
Jack Catterall should be the undisputed champion.
It's an embarrassment.
But he was walking on the punches.
Jack Catterall's been screwed here.
Josh by 1 round, 113, 112. It was a tough fight to score.
Never in a million years did he win that fight.
The right man won the fight.
He doesn't believe that.
Josh Taylor against Jack Catterall rematch works.
There was not a single doubt in my mind that I'd win the fight.
He'll soon realise they didn't win that fight.
It's one of, if not the worst decisions I've ever seen.
His career is kind of lost.
It's inexcusable.
He must know he lost that.
How can we all be wrong?
It wasn't a close fight.
Well, I thought there was only 1 minute.
I feel like it was a close fight, one that could have gone either way.
Can't wait to smash his head in.
Jack Catterall was robbed.
I want to hurt him the next time. It's going to be a long, painful night for him.
When I beat him is finished.
I'm going to outbox him. I just want to get in there and give him a beatdown.
Taylor, where are you? Let's have it.